Greetings and welcome, this is KYC News for you. Today we will see about a Belgian spy who puts EU and NATO at risk. Stay tuned. Belgian spy scandal puts EU and NATO at risk. An intelligence officer from Belgium has been suspected of working for Russia, fueling long-standing concerns about the city's safety given that Brussels is home to institutions belonging to both the EU and NATO. According to the findings of an investigation that is currently being conducted by federal prosecutors in Belgium as well as the I Committee, which is an oversight body for the Belgian Parliament, a major in Belgium's military intelligence service, the ADIV, is suspected of passing classified information to a Serbian woman who is suspected of being a Russian agent. The information was first reported on Thursday, February 14, in the Belgian newspaper De Morgen, which quoted sources at ADIV. After being suspected of illegally destroying important papers and of more widespread mismanagement, a more senior ADIV official named Clement Vandenboer, who heads up the organization's counterintelligence arm, has also been prevented from entering his office, according to De Morgen. In the event that it is discovered that the Belgian major was working for Russia, this case would resemble that of Herman Sim, an official working for the Estonian Defense Ministry who was found guilty of Russian espionage in Tallinn in the year 2009. The primary responsibility of the ADIV was to safeguard military secrets not only in Belgium but also outside of the alliance's borders. In addition, the headquarters of both the European Union and NATO are located in Brussels. These are supposed to be secured by their very own internal security services in addition to the Civilian Intelligence Service of Belgium, which is known as the VSSE. However, a Russian intrusion into the ADIV would represent a threat to everyone because of the interrelated nature of the systems used by NATO and EU member states. This was demonstrated in the Estonia case 10 years ago, when SIM disclosed 386 confidential papers that were linked to the EU and NATO. UK poisoning. The news from Belgium came out on the same day that a third Russian agent was identified as being involved in a conspiracy to kill someone in the United Kingdom. According to Bellingcat, an investigative website, Denis Sergeyev, a senior officer in Russia's GRU military intelligence service, was also involved in the attempted murder of Sergei Skripal, a former Russian spy, in Britain last year. Skripal was targeted because of his ties to Russia's involvement in the Cold War. As part of its threat assessment for 2019, Lithuania's State Security Service, the VSD, released earlier this month the statement that Russian military intelligence breaks the established red lines even in peacetime and conducts aggressive and cynical operations against the West. This statement was made in reference to the Skripal case and other similar incidents. According to the VSD, Russia invokes Cold War-like international espionage methods that fell into obscurity in the West, including influence operations, assassinations, and coups d'états. The incident involving the Belgian spy comes at a time when security has been an ongoing worry in Brussels. Spy capital. According to a recent internal report from the European Union Foreign Service that was viewed by the German daily Welt am Sonntag, there were approximately 250 Chinese and 200 Russian spies in the European capital. Brussels has now overtaken Vienna, and there is now a greater density of so-called intelligence services from outside the EU in Brussels than here, Peter Gridling, the head of Austria's domestic intelligence agency, the BDT, said last year. There is now a greater density of so-called intelligence services from outside the EU in Brussels than here. According to a report from Lithuania, the level of Russian aggressiveness in Europe is significantly higher currently than it was 10 years ago. Alain Wijnants, who was the head of Belgium's Civilian Security Service, the VSSE, at the time, told EU Observer in 2009 that, in Belgium, Russian espionage and from other nations, like the Chinese, but also others, is at the same level as the Cold War. This place, Brussels, is like a playground for an intelligence officer or a spy. It's where you want to be, there he added. trainee with charm. The risk posed by espionage is growing more severe by the day. A number of nations, including those listed below, are continuing their search for sensitive and confidential information. 2009 was also the year that, according to an internal EU Commission memo that was obtained by the German newspaper Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung. A spokeswoman for the Commission said at the time to the press, "It may be the lovely trainee with the long legs and the blonde hair," referring to the possible identity of the foreign spy. The allegations of spying come at a time when Russia is making broader efforts to exert influence in the capital of the EU. Vladimir Yakunin, a Kremlin insider who is subject to sanctions imposed by the United States, has been asked to speak at a conference that will take place in Brussels on February 27. Putin confidant. Yakunin formerly served as Russia's chief railway executive and was considered to be one of Vladimir Putin's closest confidants. His trip to Belgium was organized by a branch of the University of Brussels, VUB, called the European Leadership in Cultural, Science and Innovation Diplomacy, and it was funded by the Belgian government, ELCSID. According to BuzzFeed, a news website based in the United States, EU institutions contributed to the cost of the ELCSID event, which will allow him to network with senior diplomats from the EU. As a result of Yakunin's support for Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2014, the United States imposed sanctions on him. Against the nationalist tide, a role for EU cultural and science diplomacy was the topic of discussion at the ELCSID conference. However, Yakunin has in the past also spoken at an event in Berlin that featured attendees from the far-right AfD party and Germany's neo-Nazi NPD party. This event took place in the past. We really hope that you learned the most from this video. If so, please like it and remember to subscribe to this channel for more. Enjoy your time.